to see, we want to find out some information about Gary Soto. Do you guys know who Gary Soto is? Have they read any poems by Gary Soto? What poem did they read, Miss Creek?
Mooses by Gary Soto.
What?
Mooses.
Mooses, okay.
And
Quick, okay, quick, talk to your partner. What was Mooses about? What do you remember about Mooses?
ugly.
Oh, he's trying to get you to do it.
You're like, that was a terrible idea. Okay, no, good. All right, so what was it about? Because I've never read Mooses. I've never read Mooses. Could you tell me what it's about?
An ugly moose looking for love.
An ugly moose looking for love, is that what it's about?
Kinda.
It's a moose that thinks he's ugly.
Oh, it's a moose that thinks he's ugly, so it's kind of that self-perception type deal, like how he views
It's a
himself?
baby moose.
Okay.
It's a baby moose? Yeah.
So essentially, Moose is walking through the forest and it thinks it's alone, just wondering what happened, and then he sees another moose and he thinks it's a mirror and he calls it ugly.
Oh my gosh, that's awful. Okay, so, wow. So he talks a little bit about nature. He was writing about nature. Did we read anything else by Gary Soto? Did you guys read a short story by Gary Soto this year? Yes, the bicycle one, right?
7th grade.
7th grade. Oh, do you guys remember the short story or essay, 7th grade?
Yeah.
Ooh. Wait, talk to your partner. What was 7th grade about?
Yeah, that's all I
So, thinking about Gary Soto really quick. What do you think you know about Gary Soto based on his writing? What do you think, what kind of a person was Gary Soto? What do you think you know about Gary Soto? Maybe what influenced his writing? Just, you're going to take an educated guess. That's all you're doing. I don't expect you to know. That's why we're going to research. But quick, talk. What do you think Gary Soto? What influenced him? Go Come on, back in 3, 2, 1. Toss out a couple things. Oh, thank you. Toss out a couple things. What are you thinking, boys? Yes.
Maybe he's insecure.
Maybe he's insecure. Why do you say that?
Because in the moose poem, it could be reflecting him,
Might be him,
symbolizing him.
symbolizing him. Good. Anybody else? Something else that you know about him, maybe even from reading 7th grade. He's shy. Maybe. Why do you say that? Okay. That's okay. All right? Well, we're going to read and learn a little bit more about Gary Soto today, and then what I'm going to have you guys do is you're going to watch me do this. You're going to be doing this the next couple days, but we're going to try to figure out who he is and what influenced his writing. And then we're going to write a paragraph about it. Okay, so I'm going to show you this neat little graphic organizer that's going to kind of help us. And it looks a little bit like compare and contrast. Do you guys remember when you did compare and contrast this year? You do one thing on one side, then you do like check marks, and you write more. It's not compare and contrast. Okay, just want to let you know that. But it's kind of similar. So this is the first article that we're going to look at. So when we're doing synthesis, do you guys know what synthesis means? Do you know what it means to synthesize something? I want you to think about synthesis like this. Okay? We have a bunch of cut up fruit. Okay? The fruit is all separated. Right? You can see the apples, you can see the bananas, you can see maybe strawberries, any other fruit, right? Now I'm going to take that fruit, and I'm going to take a little bit of yogurt, and I'm going to take a little bit of milk. And I'm going to shove it in a blender, and I'm going to blend it all up together. Now what is it?
A smoothie.
It's a smoothie, right? So when we take bits and pieces of other things, and then we put them together, is a smoothie the same thing as just pieces of fruit, just yogurt, just milk? No, we just created something new. So I want you to think about it like that, okay? We're going to try to create something new with this article. So we're going to read this article first, and I'm going to put information down, and then tomorrow we're going to read a second article. As I read, I need to try to answer this question. This is my guiding question for my research, okay? Because this is essentially, I'm going to have you guys do a little research project. Just a tiny one, okay? Oh, just a tiny one. Look at how long this is, right? So I'm going to do some research, but I have to answer this question. What life experiences influenced Gary Soto's writing? Okay, I'm going to focus on Gary Soto. I'm going to write his name in, okay? Because we want to know, was he shy? Did he maybe have low self-esteem? What was it? So, watch. All I'm looking for is information that goes into that. Gary Soto was born in Fresno, California in 1952 to working class parents who often struggled to find work. So right off the bat, life experiences, I think something that might be important is probably his birthday, right? Because when we're writing about somebody, we want to know when they were born, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to say where and when he was born. I'm not going to write this whole sentence though, I need to paraphrase it. So I'm just going to say born when, 1952, where? Fresno, California, right? Yeah, right? He is. Okay, so I notice that I'm not writing a whole sentence. He was born to working class parents who often struggled to find work. Do you think that would be something that would influence Gary Soto's writing?
No.
Yes.
Why? Turn and tell your neighbor. That'd be something that would influence his writing. Come back in 3, 2, 1. I think that it might be something because that's his background. If he was really wealthy, he might be writing about being really wealthy. If his parents struggled to find work, he might talk about how his parents struggled to get by or we didn't have a lot of money. So I have a feeling that that might be something. So you know what? I'm going to put that down. But I want to, again, paraphrase it. So I'm going to do something called Tarzan talk. Right? You guys ever heard about that? Okay. Think about, how does Tarzan talk? Me, Tarzan, you, Jane.
Me, John.
Yeah, right? Okay, so I'm going to just say parents, because I want to say who it would be, struggled for work. Okay? That's all I'm going to put. Parents struggled for work. I'm not writing a sentence. I'm just shortening it up. All right. So let me keep going. Soto worked in both the fields of San Joaquin and the factories of Fresno as a young man. Though he did not excel in school, by the time he was an adolescent, Soto admits to having discovered the work of Ernest Hemingway, John Steinbeck, Jules Verne, and Robert Frost. Now, right now, I know that these people are very famous authors. I'm going to assume that you guys have heard of some of those people before. I'm just going to write that on the side. Famous authors, right? So I know that these guys are famous authors. He admits to discovering their work. Okay, but I want to look at this whole sentence and see if there's anything else that might tell me about his life experiences. So he worked in the fields, in San Joaquin, and factories. So he was kind of a farmer, but then he also worked in factories. Those are both kind of those blue-collar jobs, like hard-working jobs, right? Having to work in the fields is not a very easy job. Having to work in the factories. So maybe not work that he's not writing, right? But I think those pieces could probably show me those are life experiences, and maybe they influenced his writing. Maybe that's why he was talking about moose. I don't know. So I'm going to say, how do I want to put this? I want you guys to think about it for a minute. How would you put that? Talking about working in the fields and the factories. How would you say that on here in Tarzan Talk? Quick, talk to your partner.
Me, Tarzan.
Come on back in 3, 2, 1. I want you guys to watch this. Okay? All I'm going to do, he worked in fields. Fields.
Work factories.
And factories. Just going to do that little slash. What else do you guys notice that I'm doing with my chart here? How do you notice? I'm skipping every every other line, and you're going to see why I do that here in just a minute. Okay? When we, actually tomorrow you'll see why I do that. Alright, now it says, though he did not excel in school, by the time he was an adolescent, he admits to having discovered the work of Ernest Hemingway, all these authors. So, he wasn't really good in school. Do I want to add that?
Yeah.
Okay, probably because he becomes a writer, right? So, maybe just not good in school.
Bad in school.
Okay? I'm going to add that because I think he's a writer, right? That's interesting. Did anything like that come up in 7th grade? Was that a good student? I've never read 7th grade. Was that somebody who was having a good time in school?
No.
No. Okay, so that probably influenced it just a little bit. All right? I'm going to keep reading because I think these famous authors are going to come into play, and I know that that probably influenced, but I want to see how. I don't want to just say he discovered authors because it just doesn't say enough yet. In short, he has said, I was already thinking like a poet, already filling myself with literature. Oh, so he was filling himself. What does it mean to fill himself? Like, he must have been reading a lot of literature. So I'm going to say that. Reads a lot of literature. He was filling himself. Okay? Notice, you guys, come back, I'm not using his direct words. If I did, I'd have to put it in quotes. I'm not using his words, I'm putting it in my own, and that's what I want you to do. Okay? I'm going to keep reading this next part, and I want you to think about what you would put on this chart, because you're going to be doing this next. Soto went on to college at Fresno City College and California State University, Fresno, where he earned a BA in English in 1974. Okay? Quick, talk to your partner. Would that be something that I would add? Why or why not? Go ahead.
Yes, because
Talk to your partner. Okay, come back in 3, 2, 1. Okay? The fact that he went to school and he got a degree in English, I think I can put that. So I'm going to add that onto my chart. Fresno City College, right? English, that's what he went for. Should I put the date? Probably, right? Okay, let's keep reading. While at Fresno, Soto studied with the poet Philip Levine, whose sharp portrayals of working class subject matter influenced Soto's own poetry. Ooh, is that a life experience?
yes.
Okay, so what would you add? How would you write that on this line? Quick, talk to your partner. How would you add this sentence? All right. Okay, so Soto studied Philip Levine. Studied with Philip Levine. So I can just say studied with, do I want to probably say that that guy was a poet? Because do you guys know who Philip Levine is? No. Yeah, right? Okay, poet Phil Levine.
I think he's John Stevens, guys.
All right, so notice that I'm pulling out a lot of these pieces, you guys. I'm actually taking a lot out of this article, and the reason why is because this is short, but it's got a lot of information, okay? I'm going to stop here for today. Tomorrow we're going to finish, and then we're going to pull out the other one, okay? I think we're going to get more pieces that talk about what influenced his writing, okay? But right now, look at all the things that we have. We know when he was born. We know that the fact that his parents struggled, that he worked in fields and factories, he wasn't good in school, okay? We use that Tarzan talk to get to that piece. All right? Tomorrow we're going to look at the rest, and we're going to synthesize more. Okay? Go ahead. Stand up. What I want you to do is with your partner, okay, stand up. With your partner, quick. I want you to summarize